What is Chanukah really all about? Kovu shmoynes yemei Chanukah eila lahoidos ulahalel. And I explained that the Rambam writes all the halachas of Hallel in Hilchas Chanukah. So coming back to the question, the Nes was only 7 days. Why do we have 8 days of Chanukah? Besides the 3 terutzim of the Rosh and the Beis Yosef, and besides what I explained based on Megillas Tanis, one of the terutzim that has most appealed to me is very famous Ramban at the end of Parshas Boy, which I quoted 1,000 times. The Ramban explains why is it so important to remember Yetzias Mitzrayim lenetzach nitzochim sholosh golem Shabbos Kodesh all are zeichel Yetzias Mitzrayim. Kosav Ramban men anisim hagedolim v'hamifrosomim od hamoide benisim hanistorim shehem yesoid kol haTorah kulo. אין לנו חלק בתורס מוישה עד שנדע שכל דברינו ומקרינו הם ניסים. אין בהם טבע ומנהגו של עולם. We need to remember the gewaltige, supernatural, miraculous events of Yetzias Mitzrayim to appreciate the nisim anisecho v'nifloisecho shebachol yoim imanu erev avoike v'tzorayim. Life is the biggest miracle of all. And to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, there's no difference at all between Nes and Teva. To HaKadosh Baruch Hu, it's all the same. Human nature, when we see something outstanding, which we never saw before, which we cannot explain, we're amazed. But to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, it's all the same. There is one Tana who was the Rebbe or the Baba in the days of the Mishnah. And in Shas, he's the Baal Moifes. Anybody that needed a refuah or Yeshua came to him. Who was that? Who knows? Reb Chanina ben Dosa. Nowhere is there one halachic ma'amer of Chanina ben Dosa. We don't have any halacha that Reb Chanina ben Dosa was mechadash. There are no mamorei halacha of Reb Chanina ben Dosa. All we know about him, moifsim and tefillas. Whoever needed a Yeshua gave a kvittel to Reb Chanina ben Dosa, and he immediately knew whether his tefillas in his kabbalah or not. And there are many moifsim. I do not mean to say Reb Chanina ben Dosa wasn't a lamdan. Don't get me wrong. We have no way of measuring and evaluating Tanoim. They are like Malachi Ashoris. Neither are Meroim. Not even the Rishonim. They are above and beyond anything we could understand or appreciate. But the fact is, there are no Mamor Aloch in the name of Reb Chanina ben Dosa, only Moifsim. And one of the stories is in Sof Masechet Tanis. His daughter comes to light Neres Shabbos. For some reason, doesn't light. She looks at the bottle, and to her horror, it's not shemen. It's chometz, it's vinegar. She starts to cry. Father asks her, Biti, why are you crying? She says, we have no shemen. We can't light Neres Shabbos. It's vinegar, it's not oil. Do you remember what he said? Biti, ma ich beteslach. Misham l'Hashem yadak yom l'chaim yadak. And she tries again, burns. So it's one of the moisim of Reb Chanina ben Dosa. But I say anybody that knows Reb Chanina ben Dosa is not nispol from Nisim. Everything around him was Nisim. What we need to learn is the sprach. What does he say? Biti, ma'ich baslach. It's all the same. Vinegar could also burn. I wasn't there, but his daughter tells her, Abba, she laughs at him. לא למדת כימיה. But in Beis Yaakov, we learn chemistry. Don't be silly. Oil is inflammable. Vinegar is not. Oil burns and vinegar doesn't. But the Reb Chanina ben Dosa tells his brother, I'm not as ignorant as you think I am. I know that vinegar is not chomer dalik. But why is that? Because HaKadosh Baruch Hu said oil does burn and vinegar doesn't. But he doesn't want you to cry, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and he wants us to have Neir Shabbos. So I think right here and now, HaKadosh Baruch Hu decided that vinegar could burn as well. Because to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, there's no difference. To HaKadosh Baruch Hu, there's no difference between shemen and chaimitz. To HaKadosh Baruch Hu, there's no difference between a miracle and teva. The biggest miracle of all is the miracle of life. The miracle of teva. Because to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, it's all the same. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu could create 1,000,000 worlds, and each one would have a different set of physics, chemistry, biology, hydrodynamics, whatever it is. And each one would have a different set of laws of nature. And he could create worlds that will be totally spontaneous, unpredictable, no laws. Someday, the sun will rise in Mizrach, and sunset will be in Tzafon. Tomorrow, the sun will rise in Durham, and it'll go down in Durham. Day number 3, no sunrise, no sunset. Everything spontaneous. Everything is Ritzonai HaPoshut Yisborach Shemai. So what we need to learn from the story is the way Reb Chanina ben Dosa responds, Biti mai ich baslach. It's all the same to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So the first 7 nights are Lezecher HaNeis. The 8th night is Lezecher HaTeva. They learned from the Neis what we need to learn from a Neis. So the first 7 nights are 7 nights of miracle. The 8th night is the miracle of Teva. B'nei vino yemei shmoino kavu shir irenonim. They understood. B'nei bino yemei shmoino kavu shir irenonim. So Nes Chanukah happened once again in history, and that is not very well known. The Marshal, which is the Marshal's most fundamental sefer, who knows? Rabbeinu Shlomo Luria. He wrote a few svarim, but which is his trademark? Yam Shel Shlomo. Who said that? And in the introduction to Yam Shel Shlomo, he writes a mysterious line. Ois hiru li min hashamayim b'ner mitzvah v'toira oira, that I should publish this sefer. Sosam v'loi pirish. What happened? The Chido in Shem HaGedolim tells the story. The Marshal was once learning by night, and he had a very small candle that B'derech HaTeva would burn a half hour, or maybe a bit more. And he learned all night ad alois shachar from that candle. And he saw this as a ois men hashumayim, that my Torah is choviv etzel HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and he decided to publish the Yam Shel Shlomo. That was the Marshal's personal Ner Chanukah. And that's how we were zoicha to this amazing aura of the Yam Shel Shlomo, of the Marshal. So Neis Chanukah is all about Torah. And Neis Chanukah number 2 was about the Torah of the Marshal. And many times I mentioned, I might even have said it in the yeshuva 2 weeks ago, because I don't remember where I say what and when. So Mahadram and Mahadram light 36 neros. Lamed Vov keneged ma. Sefer HaRokeach. Chasidei Ashkenaz Rishonim. 33 hours that the Or HaGones was Mishamish Ba'olam, עד שהקדוש ברוך הוא גנזוי. Those 36 hours are from Friday morning, when Odom Harishon Nivra, till Mitzvah Shabbos. Kadosh Baruch Hu ganaz et Or HaGanuz. Where did he conceal the Or HaGanuz? The Zohar Kodesh Parshas Truma, Medrash Tanchume Parshas Noach, Ganzoi b'Torah. La'amelei Torah shebal peh b'yoyim u'v'layla. And the Zohar Kodesh says, wherever a person is omel b'Torah b'Tahara, a ray of light comes out of the Or HaGanuz and it shines upon him. And he is Zoicha l'Oyer HaTorah. And that is the Neiros of Chanukah. Chanukah was about L'shkichim Torah, the Mesiras Nefesh of the Chashmonaim for Kiyum HaTorah. So the Or HaGanuz is Maya B'neiras Chanukah. One of the great Talmidim of the Baal Shem Tov was the Pinchas Mekoritz. And he writes, Lamed Vav Keneged Ma. And whenever I ask young yeshiva bochum, what would a Talmud of the Baal Shem Tov say about Lamed Vav? Probably Lamed Vav Neiras Keneged Lamed Vav Tzadikim. Doesn't say that. Lamed Vav Neiras Keneged Lamed Vav Mesechtes of Shas Bavli. Amazing. Why Dafka Shas Bavli? Amelei Torah shebal peh b'yoyim u'v'layla. Omer HaTorah is not in Tanakh, not even in Mishnah. The essence of Omer HaTorah is in Shas. The Lamed Vav Neiros of Chanukah keneged Lamed Vav Mesechtes. Mahari Weil says Lamed Vav Mesechtes and Lamed Vav Tzadikim. So that is somewhat of a compromise. So this is the basic lesson of Chanukah, the importance of Talmud Torah. And Matasio went to war. A war which V'derech HaTeva he had no chance of winning. But I knew there's no other way. L'shkichim Torah is an existential threat, just like Lahashmid, Laharig, Ula'abed. They went to war, and they were Zeicha to Nisim. Musar to Geborim Biad Chaloshim, Rabim Biad Me'atim, V'zeidim Biad Oiskei Serosecha. So Torah is the oxygen we breathe, it is our life, and we have no kiyum without Torah. And that is the central message of Chanukah. Ashreinu ma toev chalkeinu. That we're oisik b'Torah, Kadosh Baruch Hu yazreinu l'man kavod shemoi, moidem ala over, tzoyekem ala osed, shenizkeh lahagil Torah ula'adira. I'll list the Chanukah to all of you, and good Shabbos.